Hello everyone, myself Raghunanda, working as an assistant professor of physics. Today we are going to learn about the specific heats of gases and the relation between them, which comes under the topic laws of thermodynamics. Before knowing about the specific heats of gases and the relation between them, let us know some of the basic concepts such as heat, effects of heat, and thermal capacity. What is heat? We all know that heat is a form of energy which gives the sensation of warmth. So when the heat transfer takes place from one body to another body when there is a difference of temperature between the two substances or two bodies. What is the effect of heat? When heat is absorbed by a body, its temperature increases, and when heat is given away from or taken away from the body, its temperature decreases. So, increase in temperature is one of the effects of absorption of heat from a body. It is also observed that different materials will rise to different temperatures when the same amount of heat is given to them. See, for example, if we take copper and aluminium, and if they are taken with the same amount, that is, if we take 2 kg of copper and 2 kg of iron, and if same amount of heat is supplied, the rise in temperature of both of them will be different. So, the rise in temperature observed to be different for different materials even though same amount of heat is given. So, this concept give rise to the definition of thermal capacity of a substance. That is, thermal capacity of any substance, it is defined as the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of the substance, any substance, through 1 degree Kelvin or 1 degree Celsius. So, it is denoted by C, and it is the ratio of the heat absorbed per unit change in the temperature. Its unit is joules per Kelvin. Now, what is meant by specific heat of a substance? So, if we take any amount of substance, then it gives rise to thermal capacity of the substance or heat capacity of any substance. But if we take unit mass of the substance, it defines the specific heat of that substance. That is, the specific heat of a substance is defined as the amount of heat required to increase the temperature of unit mass of the substance through 1 degree Celsius or 1 Kelvin. So, the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of unit mass of the substance to 1 degree Celsius or 1 Kelvin is known as specific heat of that substance. It is denoted by C, and it is given by the thermal capacity per unit mass, Q divided by M into delta T. Its unit is joules per kg per Kelvin, and its CGS unit would be calories per gram per degree centigrade. So, in case of solids, when heat is absorbed by any solid, a negligible change in pressure and volume of the solid is observed. Hence, the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of any solid or liquid through 1 degree Celsius is known as specific heat. And we can define only one kind of specific heat for any solids or liquids. But in cases of gases, it is different. Why? Because when heat is supplied to any gas, it is observed that along with temperature, the volume and pressure also increases. Pressure of the gas also increases considerably. Hence, we cannot define a single type of specific heat for gases. So we can have two types of specific heats for any gases. That is specific heat at constant volume and specific heat at constant pressure. Specific heat at constant volume, which is denoted by CV. How we are going to define it? So specific heat at constant volume is defined as the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of unit mass of the gas through 1 degree Celsius at constant volume. Whereas specific heat at constant pressure is defined as the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of unit mass of the gas through 1 degree Celsius or 1 Kelvin when the pressure of the gas is kept constant. So these two are the expressions for specific heat at constant volume and specific heat at constant pressure. The ratio of these two, that is Cp and Cv, it is denoted by gamma, and its value is 1.67 for monoatomic gases, 1.41 for diatomic gases, and 1.33 for triatomic gases respectively. It is also seen that Cp value is always greater than Cv. Why is it so? Why Cp is always greater than Cv? Because when the gas is heated at constant pressure, what happens? The heat here absorbed is utilized for increasing the internal energy or temperature of the gas, as well as it is utilized in increasing the volume of the gas. So here, in order to increase the volume of the gas, the work has to be done by the gas. So here in this case, when the gas is heated at constant pressure, the heat that is absorbed is utilized in increasing the temperature as well as in increasing the volume. When increase in the volume takes place, work is said to be done by the gas. Hence, more heat is required in this case in order to increase the temperature through 1 degree Celsius. Whereas in this case, that is when the gas is heated at constant volume, so volume will remain constant, hence no work is done by the gas here. So entire heat that is supplied is utilized in increasing the temperature. So hence the heat required is less in order to increase the temperature through 1 degree Celsius. Hence Cp is always greater than Cv. Now let us obtain the relation or derive the relation between these two kinds of specific heats of a gas, that is Cp and Cv. So for that, what you have to do, you need to consider a gram molecule of a gas having volume V at a pressure P and temperature T Kelvin contained in a cylinder as shown in this figure, closed by a frictionless piston as shown in this figure. Now, the heat required to raise the temperature by a small amount Tt at a constant volume is given by the expression of specific heat at constant volume, that is dQ is equal to Cv into dt, where Cv is the gram molecular specific heat at constant volume. So here one more new word came here, that is gram molecular specific heat. What is the meaning of gram molecular specific heat? So gram molecular specific heat is also known as molar specific heat. So it is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 gram mole of a substance through or a gas through 1 degree Celsius. So here we need to take 1 gram mole of a gas instead of unit mass, that is 1 gram or 1 kg of a gas. So in such a case, it is known as molar specific heat or gram molecular specific heat. So it is always denoted by capital C. So where Cv is the gram molecular specific heat at constant volume. So here 1 mole of a gas is nothing but mass of the gas expressed in molecular weight. Okay, next if instead of volume the pressure is kept constant, then the heat required to raise the temperature by a small amount dt at constant pressure is given by the relation of specific heat at constant pressure that we have already know, that is dq is equal to Cp into dt, where Cp is the gram molecular specific heat at constant pressure. Now, as the pressure remains constant, so last time what we have considered, we have kept the pressure constant. So when the pressure is kept constant, the volume of the gas increases. Hence, work is done by the gas. If A is the area of the piston which moves outwards due to the expansion of gas through a distance ds, then work done by the gas is given by the relation dW is equal to P into A into ds. So here area into distance gives the volume, which is P into dV. So this is the expression for the work done by the gas when the pressure is kept constant. According to the first law of thermodynamics, so you may be knowing the statement of first law of thermodynamics. What is the statement of first law of thermodynamics says? In order to obtain or in order to do a definite amount of work, a definite amount of heat has to be supplied to a system, or else it is mathematically expressed as the heat that is supplied is equal to, that is the heat that is given to a system is utilized by increasing the internal energy of the system and for doing the external work. So the heat supplied to a system is the sum of increase in internal energy and the amount of work done by the gas. So this is the statement of the first law of thermodynamics. Here we are considering the isochoric process. So isochoric process means in case of isochoric process, the volume of the gas remains constant throughout the process. So as the volume remains constant, so what happens to the work done by the gas in this case? So dV will become equal to 0, hence dW is equal to 0. Hence the first law will become dQ is equal to dU. That is, the entire heat supplied is utilized in increasing the internal energy. Now from equation 1 and 3. What is equation 1? Equation 1 is this one, which gives the definition of Cv. Equation 1 and equation 3. From these two we can write du is equal to Cv into dt. Next, for an isobaric process. Now let us consider an isobaric process. So isobaric process is nothing but the process in which the pressure of the gas remains constant throughout the process. So at that time, what happens? The volume of the gas increases, hence work is done by the gas. So at that time, the work done by the gas is given by dW is equal to P into PV. And according to the first law of thermodynamics, we can write dQ is equal to du plus PdV. So from equations 2 and 5, what is our equation 2? This is equation 2, which defines the Cp, that is isobaric process. We can define, for isobaric process we can define Cp, that is specific heat at constant pressure. From equation 2 and from equation 5 we can write, so instead of dq, what we are going to write? Cp into dt is equal to dup plus pdv. As the internal energy of the ideal gas depends upon the temperature, obviously the internal energy of an ideal gas depends upon the temperature, and the temperature difference in two processes. So here we have considered two processes, one is isobaric and another one is isochoric process. In these two cases, the change in temperature is taken constant. So hence change in internal energy in these two cases would be same. Hence this equation 6 becomes Cp into dt is equal to, So instead of DUP, we can take DUV value, which is here as CV into DT plus PdV. Next, from this equation, by simplifying it, we can get this equation, that is Cp minus Cv is equal to dt, which is equal to P into dV. But for an ideal gas, we know that PV is equal to RT. If the pressure is kept constant, then this equation, by differentiating this equation, we get P into dV is equal to RdT. Substituting this in equation 7. So this, which is our equation 7, substituting this value in equation 7, what we are going to get? Cp minus Cv dt is equal to, instead of P into dV, what we are writing? R into dt. By cancelling dt and dt, what we are going to get? We are going to get the relation between Cp and Cv as Cp minus Cv is equal to R. So where R is the universal gas constant, and this equation 8 is also known as Mayer's relation. It holds good for any number of moles of a perfect gas. In this equation, Cp, Cv and R are all measured in joules per mole per Kelvin, because we have taken one molecular weight of the gas. So if Cp and Cv are measured in calories instead of joules, if it is measured in calories, then Cp minus Cv is equal to R divided by J, where J is the mechanical equivalent of heat, whose value is 4.18. So students, in this session we have learnt about the specific heats of gases and the relation between them. Thank you.